Today on Raising Equity, we're going to talk about language and how much it matters, and how I got called a hypocrite the other day because I used some language I had told my children that I was not a fan of. So language, it's important for us to be mindful about what we say and how we say it. Like, we know that in terms of cursing and other things, and saying please and thank you and all of that. But in terms of language that's equitable, that doesn't demean certain groups, that takes into consideration the stereotypes and narratives that we've been given about different social identities, it's essential that we reflect on the words that we're using. So, for example, the other day when we were getting in the car, my youngest son asked me, why don't you like people to use the word crazy? And I said to him, I think it's mean to people who are mentally ill. I think it minimizes how hard mental illness is because people throw the term around all the time and use it kind of willy-nilly. And I asked him, I said, tell me a time where you wanted to use it. And he said, well, that time that Dad jumped off a cliff. And I said, well, what else could we have called that? Adventurous, courageous, I think adventure seeking, but we don't have to call it crazy. Maybe we learn a new word or something. And I was just sharing with him how there's times that we use words without thinking because other people do, but they can be hurtful. And I gave the example of lame. People often say, oh, well, that's lame, as if it's defective or no good or boring or not acceptable. And both of those, lame and crazy, are examples of ableist language. I mean, they center what is normal, and they kind of make fun of people who are differently able-bodied or who have different mental illnesses. And I think it's important for us to acknowledge those words because they can set our children up to also center people who are temporarily able-bodied and to think of folks who are different as deficient. And the fact of the matter is they're not deficient. They're different, but not deficient. Some people might say, oh, you're just being so sensitive. Why are you being so sensitive about language? Because it matters. And really, what does it hurt? What do we lose when we don't say words like lame or crazy or retarded? We don't lose anything. We actually gain a whole generation of children that see that as unacceptable and harmful to other people. So you could say, oh, you're so sensitive, but we also have been really insensitive for a while. So language matters. That's what I wanted to share with you today, and thinking about how we intentionally, on purpose, raise kids that can build an equitable society. We've got to be mindful as adults about the language that we use.